Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me for our Championship preview for round 12. Things about to go crazy in the Championship now. 9 game week rounds in 5 actual weeks. We are going hell for leather through to Christmas basically now. We're going to know a hell of a lot more by December the 19th. Things are going to shake out. I think some teams are going to move into form. This is a real crossroads for this Championship season. Before we go any further, we need to give a quick shout out to our fan sponsor. That is the Donovan brothers, in loving memory of their now sadly passed brother Michael of South East London, a lifelong Millwall fan and admirer of this show. Thank you to the Donovan brothers for their support, and you can also support me further by heading over to the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel merchandise store. You may notice that this show is not live. I've taken the decision, certainly we'll review this at Christmas, to pre-record these preview shows. The reason being is that with the schedule, I will literally be live every single night now for basically 5 weeks, which A, I won't be able to keep up with, B, is going to make me very, very tired, and C, I'd like to see my missus at least a few nights of the week. So we're going to pre-record this, which means get your predictions in the comments. We don't get to do it live and I get to read yours out, but I still want to see them. And remember, I am a very fair man for all the people who like to say, well, Ben, you predicted this had happened and the opposite happened. And the classic one at the moment, Ben, can you keep predicting my team to lose? Because every time you do, then they win. You only get to do that if you put your own predictions in the comments. That seems to be a fair standard to hold someone to. You have to go through what I have to go through. Right, we are going to get into this right now. We'll have a look at the league table. First off, Reading still at the top, but 3 defeats on the bounce is worrying. Watford, Norwich and Bournemouth, the 3 year 1 parachute teams, tucked in there. Bristol City, Swansea, Borough are the next 3. Then Stoke, Millwall, Luton, Brentford. All will have aspirations, particularly 3 of them there, of climbing up towards the top 6. Maybe Luton might be happy to stay right where they are. They've had a great start. Blackburn, Huddersfield, Preston, Cardiff in the middle. And then we get to the teams nearer the bottom. Barnsley, Birmingham, QPR. Rotherham, Forest, Coventry. Wycombe, Sheffield Wednesday now under Tony Pulis. And Derby at the bottom. We are awaiting a takeover. And we are awaiting a new manager, indeed, for the Rams. Let's do this now. All 12 games, every single team. Get your predictions in the comments. And let's find out who is up first. Game number 1 this week is Bournemouth versus Reading. So we have one of the year 1 parachute teams in the chase against the current leaders, Reading. Now, as I already mentioned, if we look down at the bottom there, you can see the recent form. Reading have lost 3 on the bounce. They have conceded 9 goals in those 3 games as well. We did the game against Stoke City as a watch-along here. Reading made individual mistakes and got picked off by a nicely organised, nicely efficient Stoke team. In terms of Bournemouth, they're not losing very much, but only 2 wins in that last 5. They would obviously prefer a 3rd in there, and then that would be the fabled 2 points per game. You can see there Bournemouth in 4th, chasing Reading in 1st. This will be a watch-along game on Saturday lunchtime, so join us for that. Reading will be hoping, if you look at their team up there top right, to be getting back some of Maite, who they've missed, Swift, don't know what's happening there, and more across the back. They would all likely improve the team that lost to Stoke quite heavily in the end. Bournemouth seem to be rotating. SofaScore say 4-4-2 in the last game with Stanislas and Brooks as sort of orthodox wingers. They've been with a back three for most of the game. So we'll see if that's a change Jason Tyndall is prepared to make. Some strength on the bench, though, still with Josh King and Surridge, Gosling, Riquelme as well. Smith have all played in the first team this season. We've had a 2-week break, and I can't do anything other than make Bournemouth, especially with it being at Bournemouth, favourites for this one. Some stuff depends really on, look, if Maite's there, Swift's there, and Moore is there. Ejari, I didn't mention either, might give Reading some chance, but they're not all going to be back, and I suspect Bournemouth are going to win this one. I'm going to go for a home win for Bournemouth. Get your predictions in the comments. Game number 2 is QPR versus Watford. QPR 18th in the table, Watford 2nd, and Watford over the past few games have brought back Andre Gray, Troy Deeney, Etienne Capoue, and Will Hughes is getting closer. So some sense the Hornets are going to be getting stronger. We'll tell a lot about how their season's going to pan out, like everybody in this next 9 games. But are they now going to go into the mode that some suspect they might and start winning very, very regularly? They've won the last 2, 3-2, strangely, for Ivic, who'd been quite sort of tight and safe and cautious. Lots of goals going in at both ends there. QPR, lots of goals going in at both ends throughout Warburton's tenure there. Still trying to figure out the combination for this season. He's ended up now with Kane and Hammerleinen and Dieng as goalkeeper and fullbacks. They didn't start the season. Some sense that he does not yet know what his best team is going to be. I suspect that Ivic may not be massively unhappy, and I don't think many managers will be, with away draws in times like this. If you can draw the away games so long as you get the home wins, where everything's a bit more comfortable and a bit more familiar, I think that'll be fine. And look, 9 games in the next 5 weeks, 18 points, anyone will take that. 16 to 20 would be every team who wants to challenge target. So I don't suspect Ivic would be unhappy with a draw, but I think he's going to get the victory in this one. So I'm going to go for an away win for Watford at QPR. Get your predictions in via the comments. Game number 3 is Borough versus Norwich. An interesting clash, this one. 3rd versus 7th. You have the team that's putting up the best defensive numbers in the league against the team that's putting up good underlying possession and attacking numbers. So we may be irresistible force and immovable object territory here. Perhaps both teams would happily take the draw, tick this one off and go about their merry way. Norwich have 2 games coming up that are probably the most difficult in the next 9. I'm sure if you gave them 4 points from the 2 and on they went for the rest of the 7, they would be happy with that. But they'll probably think that they can go ahead and win this game. Borough, as I say, so solid at the back. And you can see there, no goals conceded in the past 4 games there. They're in 7th just on the basis that they've drawn more than they would want and would like to throw a win in there. Norwich are the form team over the past 7 games. 5 wins, 2 draws, no defeats. They will hope that, although I think they did have their chief centre-backs back. Yeah, look, Zimmerman back in the last game. So just missing Gibson now and Quintia at the back. So they'll hope one or other of those is back. Rupp didn't play in the last game either, but now settling into 2018-19 mode with Buendia and Aarons and Pookie, the right-hand side of that team. I'm going to go for a draw in this one. But there's a couple of narratives, a Borough win, and we're going to start saying, is Warnock going to do another magnificent promotion challenge? A Norwich win, and we're starting to say, look, they are going to finish definitely in the top 3. And if they're able to go away and win that game, then who really is going to be able to challenge them outside of the other 2 Year 1 parachute relegated teams? I'm going to go for a draw. I think both teams would be happy with that. But hey, no surprises in the Championship. Let me know what you think in the comments. Game number 4 is Bristol City versus Derby. In one of my videos earlier in the week, I make Bristol City have got quite a nice run coming up compared to what they had in that last 7 batch of games. They're up in 5th still, 2 wins on the bounce after a bit of a sticky streak. So we can still call them streaky, especially if they win this next one. The real thing that colours this game is what are Derby going to do? We don't know, do we? At the moment, they're mid-takeover. They don't have a manager. I haven't heard anything on caretaker managers. Maybe we'll hear something tomorrow ahead of the game. That's one caveat. The other is Bristol City in COVID. And I think the dressing rooms, the training ground, has been closed. And I think some players have contracted COVID to the point where the game may itself even be in danger. So a couple of factors there. Let's just say if Bristol City aren't overly affected by COVID and Derby haven't really sorted anything out compared to where they were, Bristol City will win. However, COVID could help Derby get the first win in a while for them. I'm going to assume, never assume you make an ass out of you and me, said Samuel L. Jackson, I think. I'm going to assume that Bristol City are going to be okay without COVID and that Derby aren't going to make any big decisions in terms of management or takeover between now and the weekend. So I'm going to go for a home win. But obviously this game is laced with caveats, isn't it? Get your prediction in the comments. Game number 5 is Swansea versus Rotherham. Rotherham 2 wins in their last 5. Still just in that bottom 6 though, but maybe functioning better than a few others, particularly the 2 other promoted teams from last season, Coventry and Wycombe, who you can see below them. Swansea are in 6th, but haven't won either of the last 2. Difficult games though, against Norwich and against Brentford. Steve Cooper linked with that Derby job. We'll see anything comes of that. So have half of the potential managers in the world seemingly been linked with that Derby job as well. Cooper trying to find the formula, not really going with the Loney Gyökeres up top still. Ayew and Lowe, Casey Palmer in there now, Gibbs White not around still, and Grimes and Manning still on the bench and not in the team. Rotherham nice and settled in their formation, starting to get some results. If Rotherham stay up, I don't think it will be predicated on going away to Swansea and getting wins. It's going to be maybe lesser opponents and tighter games. So I'm going to predict a Swans home win in this one. I suspect they might just build up too much possession for the Millers and be able to break them down in the end. But we know Rotherham give everybody a good game. So I'm going to go for a home win. Get your predictions in the comments. Game number 6 is Stoke versus Huddersfield. Stoke win-loss, win-loss, win. Although they have played away at Watford and Swansea for those 2 defeats. We're expecting Stoke to just be highly predictable this season and beat lots of teams below them. And maybe, we'll see how they go against the teams higher up. The predictable part should be for Michael O'Neill beating the teams down below them, which may be key in this game. I, for one, expect Stoke to be in the top 6 by Christmas. They're currently outside it in 8th. Huddersfield in 13th. Playing some lovely football, scoring some lovely goals. But 3 defeats in their last 5. They might be a little bit spotty. I think they'll, look at that away win at Millwall. Maybe Stoke away is a similar game to Millwall. But I do not see this one going in the same direction, I have to say. I have a feeling for Stoke in this one, so I'm going to go for a home win for the Potters. I don't think Huddersfield have got anything to worry about really this season now. Shown me enough. I'm expecting a bit of a Stoke surge over this next 5-week period. Let me know your prediction in the comments. I'm going for a Stoke home win over Huddersfield. Game number 7 sees the return of Neil Harris to the Den, top scorer of all time for Millwall and former Millwall manager and successful too. However, he comes back with Cardiff, and with Cardiff in 15th place there, you can see Millwall in 9th. Millwall not scoring in any of their last 3 games. I believe, I don't know if Parrott got any minutes last night. I need to check on that. Bodvarsson certainly did. Smith, Zohore. What's the solution going to be now up top for Rowett? You think it's going to end up being Bennett, Wallace and who? We'll find out. I assume they haven't bought Zohore and Parrott in on probably reasonably expensive loans for no reason. Although we do now have 5 substitutes, so maybe a few more of them can be tried out literally every game. Cardiff, the worry I've got for Cardiff is I think that's about it. I think they've found their formula, their system, as in the 4-2-3-1. Much will depend on Harry Wilson, flanked by Hoylett and Ojo there. You just worry that at the moment that is producing 15th and 1 win in the last 5. That where do they go if this does not work? I don't see what else Harris might be able to get out of this squad in terms of what he's putting out at the moment. So I think they need to start winning. I think this one will be a tight game. I don't think there's going to be much in it. So I am going to go for a low-scoring draw in this one. Rowett and Harris to draw Millwall versus Cardiff. Get your predictions in the comments. Game number 8 is Luton versus Blackburn, which should be a lot of fun, actually. Blackburn's front 3 can really tear apart certain teams, and Luton nice and quick and open on the transition, aren't they? Much depends on that front 3 and Adam Armstrong. You can see the 2 sides there, 10th and 12th in the table. Collins led the line for Ireland, didn't he, last night? Blackburn capable of banging in goals in games where things tend to swing their way, or in games where teams have open defences, let's just say. Maybe that bodes well for them. Yet to be convinced. We need to see Blackburn go and do it now against one of the more higher ranking opponents. Not to say that that will not happen. I've liked a lot of what I've seen and their recruitment. Luton only 1 defeat in the last 5 games. That came against Brentford. So they're in pretty decent nick, Luton. Let's go for, on that basis that both teams are quite capable of damaging each other, let's go for a scoring draw in this one. Luton versus Blackburn. I'm going for a draw. Get your prediction in the comments. Game number 9 is Brentford versus Wycombe. Brentford sit in 11th, Wycombe in 22nd. I suspect by the end of the season, Wycombe would be happy to just be 1 place higher than that and safe. Brentford will not be happy with where they are at the moment. And very much like Stoke, those are the 2 teams I'm expecting to now move into a bit of more consistent form. There may be trouble for either of the managers if they don't, and move up towards or maybe into that top 6. With that being said, Brentford nearly there, just waiting for Janssen to come back. And who's going to be the left side of the front 3 this season? Good backup there for Tony and Force, and they're still waiting for Norgard as well. So there are lots of arguments that Brentford are going to be able to improve. Wycombe there, the past 3 games. Sorry, I've got the... that should be Wycombe versus Brentford. This game is at Wycombe. 2 wins in there against Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham. But that is Wycombe going against maybe, I guess, in Monk and in Karanka, more pragmatic managers. They'll have a wholly different challenge in this one. It does bode well, the game being at Wycombe, but I still think Brentford are going to be able to do the honours and create enough chances to win this game. I'm going to go for an away win. Brentford to beat Wycombe. Get your predictions in the comments. Game number 10, Preston versus Sheffield Wednesday, and it's welcome back to Tony Pulis. Sheffield Wednesday down in 23rd, but remember before Monk went, they had the deduction half from 12 points to 6 points and scored 4 points in that week. So effectively they went up 10 points in a week. So Pulis comes at a good time in terms of Wednesday. Preston, so erratic and odd with the home form and the away form, completely contradictory at the moment, and the away form did take a hit, didn't it? Lost at Rotherham last time out, so very spotty. Preston currently in 14th. I have to factor in the Pulis effect here, so I think he will have some effect and he will make some changes, but I don't think he'll be able to get the win. Maybe Mr. Pulis will be happy to go in and start making Wednesday hard to beat, if they weren't already. And maybe we might get a 0-0 in this one. So I'm going to go for a low-scoring draw between Preston and Sheffield Wednesday. Get your thoughts in the comments. Game number 11, and spot the deliberate mistake there. I've copied Derby instead of Forest into there. So you can't see the Barnsley team, my apologies. But you can see Barnsley's recent form, which is 3 wins in 4, and the fact that they are 16th in the table. When I did my analysis video, it told me that Forest have got difficult fixtures coming up. Barnsley's not so bad. It also told me that the form in the last 7 games had Barnsley 5th and Forest 7th. So this should be a quite competitive game. You can see there Houghton still trying to find the formula, starting to use Guerrero there. Barnsley, yes, apologies again, it's the Derby team up there, not Barnsley one. Will just, I assume, stick with the back 3 and the wing backs and the midfield too, and only tweak up top. That seems to have been the plan so far from Ismail. For some reason, I've just got a hankering that I think Forest might go and get a win in this one, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but I can just see Houghton doing it. But then with that being said, if I feel that, it won't happen. So let's second guess the second guess of the second guess. And let's go for a draw in this one in a competitive game. Let me know your predictions in the comments. I'm going for a draw, Barnsley versus Forest. And finally, game number 12 is our watch-along tomorrow night. Come and join us at about 7:30 for Coventry versus Birmingham. Always good fun on a Friday night watching the football. You'll see there Coventry 4 defeats in 5. Birmingham have lost the last 2. Both sides need a victory. Again, in reference to my form video and projecting out the fixtures, Coventry's fixtures look okay going forward. They may have had a run of hard games and now are going to progress to a run of easier games. Is this one of them? We will find out. Karanka teams always hard to play against. Are we going to get Birmingham sitting and waiting for Coventry? This game depends then a lot on Coventry, don't they? If they can click and wear Birmingham down, they will be able to get the win. But is there a sense that Birmingham will be able to sit and pick them off? They couldn't do it to a couple of the better teams in the league, but they also did lose to Wycombe earlier in the past few games. I think Coventry might get a win in this one. So I'm going to go for a home win for Coventry. And we'll find out in live Technicolor on the watch along. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to go for Coventry for a home win over Birmingham. Okay, that should do us for our round 12 fixtures. Remember, get your predictions. You just have to put home, away or draw down in the comments. I'll add the fixtures in the description so you can literally just copy and paste it. Remember the rules. You don't get to have a pop at my predictions if you don't do your own. That's an unfair standard to hold somebody to. And here are my predictions for this game week. I'm a bit draw heavy, I have to say, looking down. Bournemouth v Reading, home. QPR v Watford, away. Borough versus Norwich, draw. Bristol City versus Derby, home. Swansea versus Rotherham, home. Stoke versus Huddersfield, home. Millwall Cardiff, draw. Luton Blackburn, draw. Wycombe Brentford, away. Preston Sheffield Wednesday, draw. Barnsley Forest, draw. Coventry Birmingham, home. Although I should have mentioned that's the weird. Coventry are at home and Birmingham are kind of at home because it's their stadium, but they're not at home. So there you go. We will see how this one goes. As I say, for the 15 millionth time this video, get your predictions in the comments. We are doing these as pre-records now, so in order to keep the interactions up, it would be great for me to see your predictions in the comments. Again, repeating myself, we are now going for it and moving forward into 9 rounds of games in the next 5 weeks. So strap yourself in, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Loads of content, including this weekend, Coventry, Birmingham, watch along. Then it is Bournemouth, Reading, watch along Saturday lunchtime. Super stream at 3 p.m. Then we'll have the game week review live at 10 a.m. on the Sunday morning. Loads and loads of good stuff. Thank you again to the Donovan brothers who sponsored this show in loving memory of Michael, who died this year, of South East London, their brother, a lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. Thank you guys for the fan sponsorship. And you can support the channel over on Teesprings, which should be underneath there or to the side, depending on whether you're watching on an iPad or on your laptop or on your phone or whatever. Go and buy some merchandise. Help me out. Government grant for me on November the 30th. So we're getting by. We're trying our best here. And we're trying our best with the predictions. That is our round 12 preview done. Get your predictions in via the comments. And it is over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.